So, hello students. Let's look at some revision questions, like as part of your practice for your upcoming UT. Okay. All right. So, the topics that we have are squares and square roots. We have percentages and we also have exponents. So, let's just take one by one. Okay. So, coming to the first thing, like you will have MCQs. So, MCQs. Which are for, like I told you, it will be for 5 marks, right? So 1 into 5 is 5. So you'll be having 5 MCQs. So remember here, it's not that the working, see, you have to work out and you have to get the solution. But in MCQs, you have a choice. So nobody is really going to see your working out there. It's a final answer which will be seen. And if that is correct, you will be given the credit of 1 for each MCQ. So let's just take an example here. If I say 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9, let's say. And I say that is equal to, and I give you 4 options. Okay. So the 4 options are 5 square, option B 4 square, option C 9 square, and option D, let's say 8 square. Now 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9. Now, if I'm going to add them, I get 9 plus 7, 16 plus 5, 21 plus 3, 24 plus 1, 5, which is 5 square. The correct option is 5 square. You don't have to really add it because we know that, isn't it? If you add or you take the sum of the first 5 odd numbers, it is 5 square. If you take the sum of the first n odd numbers, the sum is going to be, the value is going to be n square. Okay, this is the first question. So you're not going to actually solve it. You can do it mentally. There are 5 odd numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And depending, whatever is going to be given to you, as per that many odd numbers, you have to square it. Next, let's take 25% of 80. It's very simple. And suppose I give you 4 options. Okay, the first option is, let's say 25. The second option is 20. The third option is, option C is, let's say 80, and D is something like none of the above, none of these. So you can have all these kind of options as well in your MCQs. So 25% of 80, I told you 25% means 1/4. You can do this way, that is 25 by 100 into 80, of stands for into, in which case also you will get 20, or remember it is 1/4 of 80, 1 by 4 into 80, which happens to be 20. So you have to choose the right option. You can in your answer sheet, you'll be writing 1A, then 2B, like that. So just mention the correct option. Nobody is going to really check your answer. That you can solve a lot of things mentally. That's why it's MCQs. The options are given. You should not get confused with the options. So you have to try to solve for them as fast as you can, and using the options, try to arrive at the right answer. Let's move on. The next thing is square root of 1.69. Okay. So square root of 1.69. So I might as well write it as square root of 1.69 as square root of 169 over 100. So square root of 169 by square root of 100, which is 13 over 10, square root of 1, which is 1.3. All right. So the correct option in this case will be, if I'm not given any option, if I'm going to give you an option, just for example. So I would say 0.13, B is, let's say 13, C is 0.013, and option D will be, let's say 1.3. So obviously the correct option, it's confusing, isn't it? When you look, all of them look like 1, 3, 13, and that's coming up here. But be careful here, children. The correct option is option D, which is 1.3. You have to report it as whatever. Question number 3, correct option is D. You might have to write it like this. Okay. Let's move on. So let's say 540 students, they appeared for an exam. Okay. So many students appeared for an exam, some exam. 95% of them passed. Okay. So 95% of them passed. And the number of students who failed is failures. Okay. Option A, 54. Option B, 27. Option C, 95. Option D, 5. So, you see, if 95% of them have failed, 95% of them have passed, obviously 5% have failed, isn't it? 95 plus 5 will give me 100. So, we need to calculate 5% of 540. And we'll see what we will going to get. Okay, so this will be 0 and 0 will cancel. 5 ones are 5 twos are 2 ones are 2, 27. The correct option is B, which is 27. So 27 of them failed. 27 of, this is confusing. So you might be tempted to write option D, which is 5. Remember, I didn't ask for the percentage. We asked for how many of them failed. That is in this case 27. When you talk in terms of percentage, no doubt it is 5. But the number of students who failed, if I say, the failed number of candidates is 5. Percentage failure is 5. So be very careful. It is option B in this case. That is, fourth one is option B. Okay. Next is, a mixture is obtained by mixing, let's say, okay. A mixture is obtained or got by mixing. Let us take, for example, like, okay, 12 kg of product A, whatever it is, with, let's say, with 8 kg of product B. Okay, so you want to take two things, two mixtures, two products, mix them. 12 kg of one product with 8 kg of product, the other product. Find the percentage of product B in the mixture. Okay, so when you have a question like this, you're going to get MCQs, but I'm just going to solve it first. Then we'll see what type of MCQs we can go, the options we can get. See, well, it's like this. See, now you have A, product A, how many kgs? 12 kgs. Product B, how many kgs? 8 kgs. When you add A and B, in totality, you will get 20 kgs of. In this 20 kgs, what is the proportion of B? It is 8 kgs, isn't it? So quantity of B will be 8. If you want to convert B into percentage, that's what we want, isn't it? Find the percentage. 8 by 20 into 100 upon 100. I told you, don't touch the denominator 100. 21s are, 25s are, 8 5s are 40 over 100, which is 40%. So product B is 40%. Obviously, product A will be 60%. So to confuse, they can give you like 60%, product B 40, question option B. Then option C, they can give you, let's say, just to confuse 8%, because product B gives 8 kg. So thinking that somebody will get confused, or 12% or something like this. Be very careful. It is percentage which is asked in this case, which is option B, 40%. So you need to be very careful in MCQs, because one thing is the answers are there, no doubt, but at the same time, the answers can be quite confusing. So be very careful, children, here when you solve MCQs. This is an example for you. This is a unit test. So you have been trained to do this. You just have to understand one thing. The option is important there. You might solve something and arrive at something, and we are not going to give working mark for the steps here. It's very clear, because in this case, MCQs are something like, options are given. It's like the answers are given. You have to choose the correct option based on some quick mental calculation. So your working is not seen. And no matter, you might have worked a lot, and then if you've got something incorrect, you will not be given marks, even if some steps are correct initially, because your final answer is what is counted specially for this MCQs. So be very careful about it. Then let's say 2 markers. What type of questions you can get? Just an example. I told you, if you see in the breakup, you'll be getting 3 2 markers. So that means 2 markers totally will have amount to 6 marks. So just as an example, you can get a question like, one question like, find the smallest number to be multiplied, or smallest number by which a certain given number is to be divided by, in order to make it a perfect square, isn't it? You can have questions like this. So example 200. See, when I say 200, 200 is not a perfect square, it's obvious. So I have to divide it by 2. When I divide it by 2, I will get 100, which is a perfect square. Or the other option is I need to multiply it by 2, which I get 400, which also is a perfect square. Basically, we found out this. We have done this in class, but we find out this, the smallest number to be multiplied by smallest number to be divided, by which this number should be divided by, so that we get a perfect square. Okay. So this is one type of question that you need to be well versed with. And the other thing is percentage again. Okay. See, what is the logic here actually? Going back, if you look at 200, 2 into 100, 2 into 50, 2 into 25, 5 into 5, 5 into 1. Okay. So 200 as such will be 2 into 2 into 2 into 5 into 5. When you form pairs, I told you, 1 2 is left out. So this number 200, either you should divide it by 2, in which case you get 100, or you multiply it by 2, in which case you get 400, to make it a perfect square. But yeah, when it comes to multiplication or division, here the strategy that you apply, or the technique, is prime factorization. If I ask you what should be subtracted or what should be added to, then it is a long division technique. Keep that in mind. Now, the other type of problem I told you, you need to remember this. Very important is the, okay, when it comes to appreciation or depreciation or increase in the cost of an article. The cost of an article, it can be increase or decrease. Okay. It depends on the context. The cost of an article, let's say, increases. Okay. It increases from rupees 12 to rupees 15, let us say. Okay. The cost of an article is going to increase from rupees 12 to rupees 15. Find the percentage increase. See, at first sight, when you look, it's like, okay, what is it at the end of the day? It's just a 3 rupees increase, isn't it? But then from 12, it has become 15. So there is a percentage increase. So what is this percentage? We need to find out. So how do we go with such kind of problems? Here, of course, when I'm again talking about MCQs, the options were given. 2 markers, no options will be given. So the cost of an article will increase from rupees 12 to rupees 12. So what is the original value, the old value? Rupees 12. What is the new value? It is rupees 15. So what is the change? There's a change, isn't it? There's an increase. So increase or increment or change or whatever. So increment will be 15 minus 12, which is rupees 3. So there is increment is rupees 3. So percentage change is equal to the change or the increment in this case over, okay, 1 minute, I'll just write it clearly. Increment, okay. So increment upon the old value, always increment upon old value. And of course, you can write 100 by 100. You can, don't touch the denominator 100. So it is 3 upon 12 into 100 upon 100. So 3 ones are 3 fours are 4 ones are 425. So you should know the factors of 100. It's very important. It helps you in cancelling and simplifying in this manner. Okay, so 25 by 100 is 25%. So this is also quite clear because you know the old value, you know the new value, you know the change, which is an increase or increment in this case. You can find the percentage change, the percentage increase, 25% increase. Okay, this is one type of problem that you can expect. Okay. Coming to, let's see, we haven't seen exponents for quite a while now. Let's look at something from exponents. Let's say exponents, we have, if you want to evaluate or simplify or whatever, and get the value of, let's say, half to the power of minus 3 plus 1 by 3 to the power of minus 2 plus 1 by 5 to the power of minus 2 or something like that. See, just remember a upon b to the power of minus m is b upon a to the power of plus m. Okay, so this expression boils down to 2 upon 1 to the power of plus 3 plus 3 upon 1 to the power of plus 2 plus 5 upon 1 to the power of plus 2. And when the denominator is 1, you can ignore it because what is a divided by 1? A. This becomes 2 cube plus 3 square plus 5 square. 2 cube is 8, 3 square is 9, 5 square is 25. So 25 plus 9, 34, 34 plus 8, 42. Okay, this is the final answer. Again, this is, subjective, you need to work it out. There's nothing like an MCQ that you can solve. Okay, so hope up till here it has been clear. Then you'll have 3 markers. You can expect something like long division type of problem. Find the square root of so and so by long division. I'll just take a simple example. It's already been taught, but as a part of a revision for the unit test. If I say find the square root of 1225 by long division, I just took a 4-digit number and I've told you the pairing technique. If you can remember, it is 25 and 12. This hypothetical point is here on the right. From outwards of the decimal point, you have to start pairing. So 1, 2 form a pair and 2, 5 form a pair. And let's solve now. So 12 and 25. 3 3s are 9. Because I'm looking at the nearest perfect square, I need to obtain the near to 12, which is 9. Now 3 plus 3 on this side will give me 6. 12 minus 9 is 3. So bring down the 25. Bring down the 25. And now we have to perform a suitable multiplication so that whatever step I put here, whatever digit I put here, so that the same digit I need to put in that red box here also. So let's see, 62 into 2 will give me what? 124. No way, I need to go a little further. So, and also I know that, isn't it? If a number ends in 5, the square also ends in 5. So I need not have to think. This is just a step to show you that if it is 4, you have to multiply it by 4. 4 4 are 16, 24, 25 to 56, which is still lesser than this. Let's try to get a bit closer. What is 65 into 5? Okay, 65 into 5 will be exactly the 325 if you see. Okay, and answer is 0, so the process stops here. And the quotient, which in this case is 35, that is the answer. In other words, square root of 1225 is equal to 35. So this is what you'll have to do in long division. You have to show this working. You should know what is long division and how, and see that that it's a pair that is brought down. You just can't bring down one single digit. It's not like normal division. Then you can also have other type of questions like, of course, you'll have a challenger, as I mentioned. You can also have a question like, what is the least number to be added to 1000, or what is the least number to be subtracted from 1000 to make it a perfect square? We shall see one example like this. So let's say I have 1000. And then I'm asking you a question like, what is the least number to be subtracted from 1000 to make it a perfect square? Again, apply your pairing technique, 0, 0, 1, 0. So now we are talking about subtraction. So 3 3s are 9, isn't it? You're left with 1. Bring down the 2 zeros. And of course, add 3 here, you get 6. So if I take 62 into 2, it'll cross 100. So I have to take something less than 100. Let me take 61 into 1. So I get what? 61 into 1 is 61. And of course, 100 minus 61. So it will be 39. Okay. So 100 minus 61 is 39. So from 1000, we'll just cross check. Okay. From 1000, I have to subtract 39. So what do I get? I get 961. And 961 happens to be a perfect square, isn't it? I mean, the square of 31. If you can recall, 13 square is 169. 31 square is 961. There's a mirror images of each other. We have one more, if you can remember. 12 square is what? 144. 21 square is 441. So the numbers are mirror images of each other with the digits, the tens and ones placed swapped. And even the squares, the respective squares are mirror images of each other. This is interesting, isn't it? So this is about numbers, but this is a technique that you need to adopt. Remember, like I told you, you have to be very careful. You have to, if it's subtraction, you have to go with something less. And what if it is addition? We'll see. If my next question is, what is the least number by which that should be added to 1000 to make it a perfect square? And be careful here, it is addition. So again, the pairing thing works out. Once it's paired, 3 3s are 9, the nearest perfect square. 10 minus 9 is 1. Therefore, you bring down 2 zeros. And 3 plus 3 is 6. So now the question is, what is the least number to be added? Okay. So in the previous case, I subtracted, and then you have seen we have got 961, which is less than 1000. Upon subtracting 39, we got this. So now we don't want to subtract, rather we want to add something to 1000 and still see that it becomes a perfect square. So we have to see one number or something which is slightly more than 100. Okay, a little more than 100. If you take 61 into 1, it is still 61, which is less than 100. What if I take 62 into 2? 2 2s are 4, 6 2s are 12. Let's try. So 62 into 2 will give me 124. So when I perform subtraction, of course, I'll get a negative answer because 124 is more. But if you take the, without the negative, if you consider, you're going to get 24, isn't it? 100 minus 124, of course, is minus 24. But just consider the answer, the number, by dropping the sign. And that you need to add. So 1000, for 1000, you add 24, you get 1024, which happens to be the square of 32. So 1024 is the square of 32. So you need to be familiar with this. Here, because I said added or subtracted, you have to go with the long division technique. Had I mentioned multiplication or division, or what should it be multiplied by? What should the number be divided by to make it a perfect square? Go with prime factorization. We have seen this earlier, isn't it? So this is what is the revision content all about. I was talking about it in class. I told you, if you're interested, you can watch this link I told you, and you can hopefully it will help you for the revision process. Okay, because the model has already been shared. So I hope, students, this has been helpful to you. So all the best for your UT. I'm sure that all of you are going to benefit from this, and also all the sessions that we have done in the class, and it's going to help you, and all of you are going to do really well. I have hopes.